Whoa. What's up? How's it going today? I'm just gonna fix this guy here. Cool. Stream's my camera's kind of crazy. One second, guys. Very strange. There he is, Froggy. Welcome. Yeah, you were here. You were here on the spot. You were ready to go. I appreciate that. What in the world's going on? Again, appreciate you being here. And it's great to be here. I'm trying to see. But yeah. How's things going your way, man? Any fun stuff going on? Today, I'm going to talk about Highguard, the game that everybody loves to hate right now. Feels like there's a new one of those all the time. And we're going to talk about whatever happens. Whatever exciting thing happens. I'm also eating dinner with chopsticks, but you got a new camera set up on your streams and it looks pretty good. I love to hear that. Oh, as much noise as possible. That's amazing. Yeah, new camera is such a huge unlock. Let me just message. What is the drama with Highguard anyway? That's the question, my friend. And that is the question we shall be answering today. Right after two things. Right after I sneeze. And the second thing, right after I pull up my web screen. Cool. Yeah, it's, you know how there's a new game every cycle that people love to hate? You know how it is. Well, Highguard is the newest one. I'm gonna shrink myself and show my little web page here. Very crazy. All right, let's see. Oops. Bada bing, bada boom. I'll go over here. This is it. This is Highguard. Let me go blow my nose once for 1 second, and then I shall return and tell the story of Highguard. Yes, I'm glad they disconnected because I was just about to get into it. I will be right back. Okay. Welcome to Highguard. Here it is. You know, the cover itself, it really screams of of kind of a live service game to me. If I'm looking at it, you see the sniper rifle, you have the guy with the big sword and then the gun, the lady riding a bear with a pistol. It looks like a multiplayer game for sure. And as you can see by this user score, and if I'm reading this right, what I'm oh, let me actually get this out of your way because that's blocking the user score. It's very important. This mystery box here, this evil black box, was blocking the screen. That above here. Oh, it's the chat box. Of course, of course. Sorry, this is me dealing with a little curveball in the moment here. Yeah, the score is really rough. Let me just... There's really no good place to put this. Yeah, the score is very rough. So yeah, basically what we're seeing here is a 1.2 user score. And that is not great because if I'm reading this right, you know, this is a score out of 100. And what we're dealing with here in Highguard is a 1.2 user score. So one interesting thing to do is to always dive into these user scores, see what the people are saying. Let's browse a few of these, shall we? This game is not for solo players. The idea is cool, but it needs some fixing. You know, I actually do wonder if this is out of 10 based on the fact that 5 is average. I'm guessing this is out of 10, so 12 out of 100 we could say, which is still awful. It's like a Rotten Tomatoes score. This game is not for solo players. The idea is cool, but it needs some fixing. So we gave it, you know, 5 out of 10. Perfectly in the middle, perfectly average. That's fair, but it's strange to dock a multiplayer game if it's for being a multiplayer game. From the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall, which I really enjoyed. Titanfall 2, not so much Apex Legends, but basically a PvP raid shooter where the players will ride, fight, and raid as wardens. Talks about some of the classes. It's basically 3v3, which people aren't really sure about either. It's very small and intimate. No chorus. Get legendary gun and gear, still get one shot by the starter weapons. Shoot someone in the head with half a mag using legendary auto shotgun. Get out damaged by common pistol use ult. You know, it's claiming that the gameplay is full of cheating. I mean, we can't really confirm or deny that claim. I feel like I'm working for like Highguard PR when I say that. Froggy, I just want you to know the sneezes never stopped. They're still happening all the time. Every time I go to record. Every time. Yeah, it's a team PvP. Exactly. As you said, Froggy. And so, you know, I don't really want to pop into that, guys. Let's just pop into here so we can see kind of the gameplay. IGN. This is kind of a clickbaity title from them. Instead of just them doing a review. I respect it. Gotta get the views. Highguard is getting destroyed in user reviews. Alright, so as you can see, this game is very like Halo Apex Legends-y. Like, this is like Apex Legends to a T. Cool. Well, I guess most of this video is this good man talking, but as you could see from kind of that excerpt, it's very Apex Legends coded, but apparently it's very boring. So one thing a lot of people keep saying, and it's so bad and mediocre that I couldn't complete the training. It's not just a mediocre game with only 8 characters, large maps, and excessively long matches. It also performs poorly and crashes frequently. You know, I just feel like some of these reviews waste my 2 hours of nighttime to play this piece of banana. You know, people are definitely loving to hate the game. Let's see what the critics say. It's a top-notch PvP shooter from Games. And we have some other ones, you know, CNET, despite a confusing debut, it's a cleverly forged amalgam of Apex Legends, Valorant, and MOBA gameplay. Okay. I mean, the critics are certainly higher on it. First impressions are much better than the reveal trailer left me with. They're certainly higher on it than the users are, which has been the case with quite a few games. I mean, if you look back at Suicide Squad, very, very similar experience. Another game that people clowned on, and I think people felt a lot of emotions for because they lost. What that represented was losing the Arkham series, you know? It represented a shift from Batman Arkham to Suicide Squad. And now what we have here is just, it feels like it's kind of at the tail end of the live service trend, and people are just hating on it, but it sounds like it's actually not necessarily a terrible game. You know, when I think about people jumping on the hate train for live service, I don't want to say it's all completely people doing that for views or anything, because there are instances like Helldivers 2, where I would say the same people who constantly, you know, vilify and complain about live service, they also were huge fans of Helldivers 2 and supported it. So I don't think they do it for everything. I think that they do have some standards, but it does feel like this game is the popular one to hate right now. And I don't necessarily see why. It seems like it's just kind of boring, but why does that? Yeah, that's the question. Why do gamers hate it? Let's see what Stone Mountain 64. Let's check out this 4 hours of gameplay. Gotta love the ads. Let's see what this looks like. It looks really nice. Looks like it plays really smoothly. Literally just looks like Apex Legends, yeah. Again, I couldn't really tell unless I was playing it, but you know what? Cool that people are riding bears. It just looks like an online game. It doesn't look like it's awful. Yeah, Froggy, it sounds like a good concept. Yeah. I kind of think so too. I think it's a good concept, but it seems like it just didn't do enough to distinguish itself. But I also don't think it warranted the hate that it's getting, from what I can tell. It seems like people are enjoying it. Even people in those comment sections of people that love to pile onto these games, even they are saying it's better than I thought. But I do think that once that cycle, that vicious cycle of people, you know, deciding they don't like a game, I think that's a vicious cycle that it's hard to escape if you are a game that gets caught in it. Yeah, exactly, Froggy. One guy said it was bad but still had 2 hours in it. Yeah, if it's that bad, why would you play it for 2 hours? Why would you do that? That's my question. Exactly. Silly people. Hey, it's me. Sneak peek at the editing process where I've got this shirt on. Next video is going to be fun. Accidentally recorded it in 720p though, which is very sad. It's still 60 frames a second, luckily, but that'll be at 720p. But yeah, kind of crazy though, huh? Kind of crazy indeed. Let's see, what else did I have on the docket? Oh yeah. This is something else I wanted to talk about. I am a Pokemon fan. There's no doubt about it. I guess I want to finish up the Highguard thought too. To me, Highguard just looks like another live service game. It looks like it's being hated for the genre it's in and not necessarily because of the game that it is. Sounds like it's boring, but that doesn't warrant a 0 score. I think that it's people built up over time. They're tired of the same exact experience. They're probably going to do the same thing to fair games. I think these games are doomed to fail now. And is that a good thing overall? I think it is for the industry, but I don't love how there's no open-minded or critical thinking involved with it. That's a shame. But it's part of the experience, you know? Now, I needed to talk about this too, because I've been thinking there's a lot of rumors going around about the next Pokemon game. How it's going to be revealed in February. We're going to hear about Generation 10 of Pokemon. And I grew up playing these games all my life, basically. And one of my favorites was Pokemon Colosseum. It was a really weird game where you could take other people's Pokemon from them. That was kind of the whole thing, was it you could capture theirs and you steal them, basically. Like, your main character was basically like a little thief guy. And very succinct, apparently 8 hours. Got this in 4K 60. The battles looked so good and everything was a double battle. And it was dark. This game had a ton of dark themes about it, and that's what I want more of. Really, it's spelled like Colosseum. Allows the player to steal/snag. That is such a cool mechanic. Starts out in a desert town, which is very cool, and basically the main character is, rescuing shadow Pokemon. And they've had their hearts darkened. What a cool concept. What a cool concept to make Pokemon evil. And then you have to capture them and free them and their hearts have been made evil. I mean, we haven't really had a story like that in such a long time. I would really enjoy seeing that. And even more of a kind of linear experience like this in terms of something like they're doing with like the 2D Zelda experience versus 3D. And how they have like Echoes of Wisdom and Link's Awakening, and then they have their 3Ds. If they could do more of a linear, kind of darker story for Pokemon, that would be so cool. This is one that I'm also hoping appears in on GameCube NSO, because this is a cool freaking game. So good. So good. Like, look at this. On the GameCube, this was just... Oh, big hair guy. What is that? Oh, Phoenix, Arizona was used as the basis for the main city. That's cool. But yeah, I just love this game. I love it when they go more linear, and I love when most games go more linear and try to tell better stories. It's such a good time. That would definitely make people mad. Exactly. Wow. Yeah, it's just so good. Are you still playing Red Dead Redemption 2? These graphics are crazy. Such a cool little main character outfit too. Amazing stuff. What is this? Yeah, story games are always better. Exactly, Froggy. You and I. We agree. I also just wanted to have a moment where I pay credence. You're writing up on 50% of the story. I like that. You're taking your time. That's the way to do it. That game, I don't know. When that game finally ends for you, I have a feeling it's going to be an emotional experience. It was for me. It was. I was very sad. I couldn't believe it. It was a crazy journey I'd been on with Arthur. It was crazy. Very crazy. But so good, dude. So good. I also want to talk about the best co-op games I've ever played. This is just something fun I like to talk about. I actually found thinking about my childhood and the best games that I'd ever played with someone else, they were co-op games. Of course, because I had to play them with someone else. Army of Two, if you've never played it, anyone out there, Army of Two is so good. You can betray your teammates, you can do a crazy back-to-back slow motion, crazy murder mode experience. Gears of War as well. I love games where you and your co-op partner experience different parts of the story. So like Gears of War, they split you up all the time. Army of Two, same thing. But then you come together and you're actual characters in the story. One flaw with Halo, where in the games you're not always just like a clone, but you are in a way. Like you're not really experiencing a separate story as a separate character like you are in those games. But Halo is still such a freaking fun blast. And then I had Baldur's Gate 3 here. Baldur's Gate 3 is a game of all time. It really is. Like Dungeons and Dragons, but in real life. I mean, it's a game that so many of us play at the table side with our friends, and we then can now play it in a video game. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. Oh, Froggy, you're riding up on 50% of the story as of last night. Yeah. Oh, I already read that. You're not ready. The ending is going to destroy you. Do you know anything about the ending? Are you familiar with it? And then I had, of course, Stardew Valley. Possibly the best co-op game I've ever played. It will take you to another universe. You'll appreciate your friend like a cozy gaming partner for life. It can rekindle and save relationships. It is an amazing game. There's no doubt about it. And then we have Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 is so freaking fun. It's so fun. This is a game that I would play with anyone, and I have. I've played it with people who don't play games, and they have a blast. It's insane. I just didn't want to... This wasn't worth making a whole video about, so I just wanted to say I'm on a stream somewhere. You knew about the ending before you even knew you were going to get the game? Okay, yep. Yep. That's fun, though. It is such a good game, Froggy. I can't even tell you how jealous I am that you're experiencing that right now. So good. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of... Arthur is just... He is peak. He's peak voice acting. He's peak video game character of all time, really. I would I would go to war for Arthur. That's my boy. And other people did in that game. What I love about Red Dead Redemption 2 is how it ties into 1. I don't know if you know how that works, but this doesn't really feel like a spoiler, but the end of 2 is essentially sort of the beginning of 1. Plus or minus a time skip, but as much as you love God of War, you think RDR2 is better than God of War. Yeah, I know you do love God of War. I remember you said that. And I agree with you, though. God of War is a great linear story-focused experience. Red Dead Redemption 2 brought a whole new ball game to the gaming table. Absolutely. It was unbelievable. It was an unbelievable game. And at its core, I think it would deserve Game of the Year because of how much it allowed you to do your own thing. You know, God of War is confining, which is also what makes it so great. But in Red Dead Redemption 2, you could make Arthur whoever you want him to be. You know, Kratos is always going to be Kratos at the end of the day, which is great. But Arthur, there are many versions of Arthur. And it depends on what kind of a man you want to make him be. And that's some Game of the Year stuff right there. It is crazy though. It's kind of like, what was it? Like Elden Ring and Ragnarok, or Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, there's been some crazy competitions for Game of the Year. It's unbelievable. Really unbelievable. My next video is going to be about how to decide what game to play. Something that I've been struggling with myself. So half of my videos are just me thinking, you know what? I need to think this through myself, so I'm going to make a video about it. And it's a good time. God of War 2018 is a better linear story, but Red Dead Redemption 2 has so much customization. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, 2018 does have, it's definitely more of a linear story. In terms of which one has a better story, in general, taking out linear versus open world. Wow. It's a really hard question. I don't think that Red Dead Redemption 2's story is amazing. I think that what makes the game amazing are the moments in the story and the characters. I don't necessarily think that the story itself is amazing. It's more of like a collection of stories than one larger story. You have the gang, what were they called? The gang that's hunting them down, the Pinkertons. They're kind of looming as the villains of the game. But God of War has such a clearly defined story, and it reinvented Kratos. And I might go God of War, even though I do love Red Dead Redemption 2 more. I think God of War overall has the better story, pacing. Yeah, again, as I think it should. An open world game, it's hard to tell a story like God of War. Come here, boy. 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 Survived the snowstorm. That was nice. Yeah. I cannot decide what game to play on stream though. Because realistically, I don't have the time to really commit in terms of streaming. If I want to keep making, I could pick one or the other. I could either stream or I could make videos. I enjoy making videos a lot. I think that streaming overall, I do enjoy more, but it's the time commitment with streaming that makes it tough. If I still want to make videos, I really can't do it that much. So I want to at least pick 2 days when I could come on for an hour or two and talk about what's going on and stream a game. But in terms of the game that I'd stream, I mean, what game do you stream for 1 to 2 or 2 to 4 hours a week? You know? It's not just like a multiplayer game because I don't want to do that. I also don't want to stream a single player game because I would forget about it. This is my thought process as I'm thinking about streaming. The other thing I need to take into account is that my computer, as beautiful, as wonderful as it has been so far, it cannot handle streaming a game in 1080p 60 frames per second. And if I'm going to stream a game like Cyberpunk or any game that's 60 frames per second, really, I want to be able to stream it in 60 frames. Feels important to the experience. It's also such a better viewing experience too. So it's really a tough balance. I need to figure out that game that I can play for an hour and then just come back to it in 5 days and still be okay with that. I don't know. I'm always open to suggestions if anyone out there has any for this particular exact need. Because I know myself. If I'm playing a game, if I play a game tonight and I decide that I really like it, why in the world would I make myself wait 5 days to only be able to play it for 1 hour on the next day? But I also want to stream a game that I like, right? So that's the balance here, guys. Streaming's such an interesting thing. I know that the ideal is streaming for 5 hours. 3 to 5 hours, I feel like, is nice because you can get a good play session in. And if you're streaming for 3 to 5 hours for two or three nights a week, you're chipping away at a game. You're getting some good progress in. But 1 to 2 hours a night is tough to chip away and make progress for sure. But I enjoy it. I know that people like to see me play games too. I've heard that. The question, as always, is which one? As always. I'll keep browsing. I'll keep looking. For now, we're still on that video grind. I was thinking like JRPGs could be nice, because they kind of offer moments to still be able to talk, but also play the game, you know? That's kind of nice. Because they're somewhat fast-paced, but... Froggy, hey! You have yourself a nice night, my friend. Enjoy yourself if you're playing Red Dead Redemption 2 or whatever you're doing. Have a nice time out there. See you later, man. Always good to see you. Yeah. I did consider something too, which was streaming older games only because they're fast, because I feel like they accounted for less time being available, you know? So I don't know. It's crazy. It's real. It's a crazy world out there, my friend. One streamer I know, he only does like hour-long streams, and that's nice too. Just talking about life. But yeah. Let's see. I have communicated with someone else about being on a podcast, someone that I really enjoy watching. Name is Chiral Drifter. Cool YouTube channel. Talks about life. And yeah, just kind of my vibe. I feel like it'd be a fun conversation we'd have. So that'd be cool. I think I should, because I have another podcast appearance on the 28th of February. I think I should post about it. I think I should. Nice to let people know what I'm up to. Yeah, I'm still just reading these Highguard reviews. So strange. People are grumpy. I understand it though. Kind of crazy. Yeah, that was really all my plan was for tonight. Again, if I ever find the time, super excited to stream games. I think that I need to have more time than 1 to 2 hours though. But for now, I'll just pop on twice a week, 3 times a week, and just kind of talk about what's going on in the world, about games or whatever. Whoever hops in, we can have a conversation. I think that's a nice balance, a nice format for me. And yeah, we'll go from there. Cold Winters at Night, spelled like the chivalrous knight, of course. 9793. How's it going? To kind of revisit an earlier topic, you like how Arthur Morgan is kind of a blank canvas that you as a player can metaphorically paint. You decide what kind of man he is. Yes, exactly what I was saying, yeah. Especially when compared to God of War, Kratos. This is what I was saying to Froggy before too. It's like, Kratos is great, but that's because he's Kratos. You know, what to me puts Red Dead Redemption 2 over the edge for Game of the Year is how you can kind of make Arthur Morgan the man you want him to be. And it all works. Like, that is crazy. You could never make Kratos a really tender, kind, loving person because it's just not who he is. But Arthur Morgan, it's believable. But it's also believable if he's really hardcore and he's murdering. Like, there's so many elements to Arthur Morgan. At the end of the story, when, I mean, if you know how it ends, you believe that that's who the man he is, and that is the man you created. That's special, man. That's special. Absolutely. That's a great point. Yeah, previously in the stream, I was just talking about the Highguard hate, whether that's warranted or not. And the best co-op games I've ever played. So, but I was just saying I'm about to wrap this stream up. Just keeping this one short and simple. If I ever have more time, I'm going to stream games because I know people want to see those. But Cold Winter's Night, it was great to see you in here. Maybe I'll see you in another stream. I plan to stream Tuesdays. Oh. Cornflake Girl. Welcome in, Sonia. It's great to see you as well in here. That's funny. It's always the closing statement. Great to see you though. I'm glad you made it in. You just heard about Highguard as well? Yeah, Highguard's kind of an interesting conundrum, isn't it? I really enjoyed Titanfall and Titanfall 2. Had a blast with those. I don't really love Apex Legends as much, but I didn't see any reason why Respawn wouldn't be able to make a decent game, but people aren't loving it, that's for sure. I was just looking at that at the beginning of the stream as well. He said, seems like I'm wrapping. Yeah, I was kind of wrapping it up for sure, but hey, you know, I'll just poke in and show you. I mean, you could always watch it back as well, but I just find this so fascinating. Oh, the score's gone down. We were looking at the Highguard user score to start the stream. Kind of crazy. I'll move myself over here. And there we go. The Highguard user score. 1.1. It's 1.1 out of 10. Which I originally thought that was 1.1 out of 100. Which, hey, that would also not surprise me, but 11 out of 100 is not much better, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, I'm sure you guys have heard about it. Let's see. What was I gonna check? Oh yeah, let's go back to this. Kind of crazy though. Oh, Piblin, hey, what's up? Welcome in, Piblin. Did you say, what did I miss this? I mean, I was just wrapping up, but I can circle back to Highguard as well, just to have a live conversation about it. 1.1, holy crud. Yeah, Cold Winter's Night. Isn't that crazy? You know, my reason in looking this up was trying to figure out if this was a hate campaign. Because you know how those go, like Suicide Squad, like Ghost of Yotei. There are certain games, Assassin's Creed Shadows, there are certain games that people cling on to and they decide they're going to hate. And I was trying to figure out if this was one of them. And I have decided that it is. Sonia, Conflict Girl, you said, wanted to say thank you for playing Little Nightmares. I helped you realize not to buy the game. Okay, well, I'm glad I could help. I'm sorry to the Little Nightmares developers. They lost a sale there, but for me, that game was not... I feel like it wasn't an ideal stream game. I feel like I need to be immersed just in silence and darkness playing that game to enjoy it. But yeah, it's definitely a game that's not for everyone. But I'm glad that my stream could help you realize that. But yeah, as you can see here, the 1.1, you know, we browsed a few user ratings before. Let's check out the one Xbox. I tried to, so this is a 0. 0 means this game has no value to it. I personally could never give a game a 0 unless it didn't run. I think there has to be some credit given to the game unless it doesn't run or it's like overtly predatory in its monetary practices. Maybe a 0 then. But here, I tried to give this game a fair shake, but sadly, this is one of the most uninspiring games I've played in a long time. Uninstalled after an hour of playing 3v3. People don't like the 3v3 PvP. And this person here references Titanfall 3. Which to me, I just really think that speaks to kind of like the Suicide Squad, where what people didn't like about Suicide Squad, even more than the fact that it was a live action game, was that it took away what could have been another Arkham game in the Batman series. I think that was the thing people really were upset and sad about, and I was too. Rocksteady could have made another Batman Arkham game. Instead, they made Suicide Squad. And I feel like people are thinking that here, where they could have gotten Titanfall 3 or the next Apex Legends, whatever it is. And instead they got Highguard. But no, I don't think it's worthy of a 0. That's too intense. It's not helpful. Cornflake Girl, you said Little Nightmares was too dark. Okay, do you mean like thematically, or do you mean the actual visuals of the game? That's funny. It was both. It was dark in both ways, so. But it was very visually dark. Very visually dark. Code Violet, that's another game. Was it actually that bad, Code Violet? I love dinosaur survival horror, like Dino Crisis. I couldn't believe how much people hated that game. Yeah, people are just upset. At least this one got a 1. The one positive score didn't have any words, but the one average score, basically, this game is not for solo players. Cool. Cool. You know, it is a multiplayer game, so it's a little harsh to knock that off, to knock off points for it not being a solo experience. Yeah, Cornflake Girl, Highguard is multiplayer. Yeah, exactly. It's a 3v3 PvP shooter. Yep. Cold Winter's Night. People are still upset over not getting Titanfall 3. I think that that is a huge part of it. I really do. I think that when it comes to these games, whether it comes to even Star Wars Battlefront 2, games like that where they kind of ruined a franchise or a developer, a studio. And they were told by the bigwigs to make a live service game. And I understand that. I think people are kind of morally review bombing these. And I understand it. I am not the biggest fan of Fortnite. I think it's unfortunate in terms of how it's, ruining people's appreciation for single player games, or at least the younger generations. But at the same time, I think Fortnite's a blast too. But I would say the less of these, the better, for sure. Kind of what you think about with Destiny 2, where Destiny was fun, but I don't know. Another Halo game would have been great too. Or some Halo offshoot. Something like Halo. But I mean, the critics have more favorable scores. A lot of mixed reviews. But yeah, this game, it was feisty. It was definitely feisty. And I find all this so fascinating because people do, like, if you watched any of those Suicide Squad, the Code Violet videos, the Highguard videos, was it Mind's Eye? The Mind's Eye videos. Those are people's favorite things to watch. It's like to watch a game fail, basically. And it is entertaining. I understand. There's this YouTuber Luke Stevens, who I used to watch a lot, and he made some very entertaining videos about these games. And while I think they're entertaining, I did start to kind of reach a point where I was like, at a certain point, this isn't helpful, and it does kind of perpetuate something when these games aren't that bad, but if you're standing on moral ground about wishing it was a different sequel, fine. But it is, I don't know. I saw something about someone talking about the rise of the anti-fan in terms of like people that don't like stuff and that are fans of not liking things. You know what I mean? It's interesting. These human brains, they're crazy. Highguard is the latest victim. And is it justifiable? It sounds like it's a fairly mediocre experience. Again, I don't want to speak too much to it because I haven't played it. Highguard is, you're right, Cold Winter's Night. Highguard is not helped out by how saturated the hero shooter genre is. Absolutely. You really do have to stand out. And I think you have to do something like what Marvel Rivals did and create. It was a very fun, organic experience with a unique art style and some destructive elements and obviously IP that people know and love. Like, there aren't really too many ways to break out besides that, especially with a first-person hero shooter. I mean, as much as people don't like Overwatch, it's really not going to get much better than that. You know what I mean? Concord, of course, like, it is crazy how many times we're seeing the same game over and over again with a different skin. But there are ways. You just have to do kind of what Marvel Rivals did. but there really aren't too many games that are going to be able to innovate on this. They did tunnel themselves in, and it must be, I mean, can you imagine being a developer and developing this game, almost certainly knowing how people are going to feel about it? It's got to be hard. It's got to be tough. Gotta be tough. But hey, I say all this, I will never play games like these. They just aren't my, I also won't go on and review bomb them either though. I'll just play my single player games. I'll play Fortnite once in a while. I'll play Rocket League once in a while, but I'll play my single player games and enjoy those, you know? Only 4 critic reviews though. It was also strange because we didn't even know if this game was coming out because they hadn't said anything. N64 Josh, woo. But yeah, guys. Yeah, Cornflake Girl, I really do prefer single player games. I have my kicks where I play with friends and stuff. Like I talked about, some of my favorite co-op games like Gears of War, Halo, Stardew Valley. Those are really fun too, but at the end of the day, I will always prefer single player games. You can't beat a single player game. To me. You've really gotten into RPGs? Yeah. I'm right there with you. RPGs are where it's at. They're the best. JRPGs are really fun. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, yeah, I'm trying to do these shorter streams to ensure that I can stream more often. Because I think when I start to do longer streams, I kind of pin myself into not having time to edit videos and not having time to do other stuff. So I'm trying to limit the streams and just talk about things and play games when I can, for sure. So great chatting with everybody that was in here tonight. I appreciate all of you guys for stopping by, talking some Highguard, breaking that down, and we'll go from there. So thanks again, everyone. And you have yourself an amazing night. I'll see you definitely Saturday. I definitely want to do Tuesdays and Saturdays. I think any other night would be an awesome bonus, but it'll be a surprise. So stay tuned for that. If you want, you can join my Discord as well. I post that in my video links, and I'll usually update that when I'm going on live streams, and I'll talk about other stuff in there too. So yeah, you guys have a great night. Thanks, everyone, and see you next time.